As it stands, February is the biggest month for games in 2024. There's something for everyone. Weird roguelikes that you never expect, blockbuster RPGs, co-op shooters to play with your squad, pirate adventures, and more. I'm Durrani of 100% Crit, let's get started. Take to the Skylands in action RPG Granblue Fantasy Relink, a gorgeous looking game of two halves, with the latter being something I think you'll be very interested in. The former is a single player story in which the main character Gran and his crew adventure to a legendary island, and we know nothing else about the story, so moving on. The latter part of the game I think you'll most be interested in is the Monster Hunter style quest hub. Solo or in 4-player co-op, you can select a variety of missions to embark on, from horde modes, time attacks, but more appealingly, the massive boss battles. You'll need a coordinated team to take these on raid style. All of these missions give you materials to craft armor, weapons, and other gear for you to power up your desired character and role, and there's quite a selection to choose from. If you like fast, flashy, and fluid combat, pay attention because Granblue Fantasy Relink has it in spades. It's releasing on February 1st. Legendary developers of the Batman Arkham games, Rocksteady Studios have taken a different route with their upcoming title, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. The aim of the game is in the name. The merry band of supervillains' task is to kill the Justice League, who have been brainwashed by Brainiac. Brainiac's evil forces have also invaded Metropolis, so you'll be out on missions solo or 4-player co-op to interrupt the invasion efforts by doing open world activities. The decision to give the squad guns and not weapons more fitting to their character is gonna be a divisive one, but it is what it is. You might have also noticed that there's a big focus on movement in this game, which I think looks pretty good. Suicide Squad's gameplay is looter shooter-esque, so your progression will be in the form of chasing loot. Heavy RPGification, power levels, gear rarity, damage numbers, skill trees, you get the point. I'll say this, if you're a fan of games like Borderlands, The Division, Warframe, or Destiny, this game might be up your street. But if not, and you prefer single-player offline experiences more, maybe best to look elsewhere for now, or even just get this game for the story and then sell it immediately, because if there's one thing people that have played the game and previewed it, most of them said that the story is the main highlight. Regardless of what you do though, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League will launch on February 2nd. The second of 3 planned games in the Final Fantasy remake project is almost here. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth continues Cloud's epic adventure after he and his crew narrowly escaped Midgar. They're out on the open road now, and players should expect more freedom in the open sections with deeper exploration. New chocobo features like climbing and swimming should help you get around the bigger levels with ease while you're out discovering what's on offer, like brand new minigames, crafting materials, and open combat. Like any sequel, the general sense is that it's more of the same, but greatly expanded. Don't take more of the same for a bad thing though. Final Fantasy VII Remake was a hit with action RPG fans, and there's loads of new features to look forward to. We know that combat mechanics introduced in Remake's DLC integrated will be the standard in Rebirth, so the ability to combine attacks with party members called synergy abilities, as well as new skills and materia to unlock that will take your characters to the next level. You'll also be meeting a whole new host of characters along the way. Some will join you on your travels, some more party members, but luckily you'll have more control over your party in Rebirth. And of course, more story. Square Enix does state that this is a standalone adventure and won't need prior knowledge of the remake, but take that with a grain of salt. Either way, if you're looking to play, it will release on February 29th. If you and your friends like co-op games, you should definitely keep an eye on Helldivers II. You're part of a galactic war, an elite soldier in cryosleep ready to be deployed at a moment's notice to defend Super Earth from aliens and robots. You and your team PlanetSide need to coordinate loadouts and builds that will be appropriate for the mission you're on. From the gameplay we've seen so far, there's plenty of fun, explosive, and powerful weapons to choose from, but the enemies are just as overpowered, so be prepared to die a lot as well. A feature that I love that was shown recently in a gameplay video was reloading large weapons like rocket launchers for your teammates, which drastically decreases reload speed. There's even ship upgrades and these things called stratagems, which are tools, weapons, and other useful things that you can call down from your ship when you're on the ground to support your team. The gameplay loop is that as a community, you choose and deploy where needed. The world of Helldivers 2 is persistent, but you have your own campaign progress. Drop down to the surface, kill a bunch of stuff, get materials, upgrade your ship, weapons, armor, and skills, then check the map and see where you're needed next. It looks like a lot of fun with friends, and it's releasing February 8th. The developers of Life is Strange's most ambitious project yet is a single-player action RPG with a strong narrative focus, and it's called Banishers: Ghosts of New Eden. You play as Red and Antea, Banishers sworn to protect the living from the dead, and the story side of things sounds really interesting. Red and Antea are lovers, but Antea dies and leaves Red torn. Does he betray the Banishers code and try to bring his wife back to life, or let her pass on? The owner only way Antea could come back to the land of the living is if Red sacrifices a certain amount of human souls. So while you're out on missions, you're going to be faced with some pretty tough decisions. And the gameplay is interesting. In combat, you can dynamically swap between the two characters, making use of each of their strengths. The combat reminds me a little bit of The Witcher, but it does look like it can use some polish. All of the combat gameplay we've seen on the internet for Banishers is a little old, so hopefully on release it will look much better. Banishers Ghosts of New Eden will release on February 13th. If you're enjoying this, consider helping us out a little by 1. Liking the video and 2. Hitting subscribe. Thank you. Now back to game. Foamstars is a chaotic 4 vs 4 family-friendly bubble-filled shooter. Taking its inspiration from the likes of Splatoon, Foamstars will have players filling the stages of Darth Vegas with weaponized foam that can be used in a variety of ways. You can coat your enemy in foam, then you or a teammate can get close enough to boot them out of the arena. That's how you get eliminations. You can create terrain and form your own vantage points, bridges and stairs. There isn't a mode where whichever team paints the map the most wins like in Splatoon, but painting the floors and walls in foam is still a big part of the game, as it speeds you up and slows the enemy down. The game modes in Foamstars are more objective based, with a twist though. Push the payload by dancing on a rubber duck, or hunt the VIP who's got super health and more damage. Foamstars is releasing on PS5 and PS4 and will actually be available in the February PlayStation Plus monthly games on the 6th, so give it a try. Time to cruise to the supernatural Pacific Northwest in Pacific Drive, a first-person survival game with roguelike elements where your station wagon is your only companion. Starting from your home base, the garage, you'll plan routes and missions to take on your map, but not before running diagnostics, crafting parts and making any essential upgrades to your car that will help you survive. While en route to your destination, you're on the hunt for supplies, making regular stops to search areas. Sounds easy, right? Wrong. Dynamic otherworldly weather is only one of many problems you'll face. It makes handling your car a nightmare. There are also roadside hijackers, people who will attempt to steal your car if you leave it unattended for too long. There's just a whole bunch of ways to make your journey all the more challenging. Once you're done gathering, you'll have to drive to survive to escape an almost battle royale style ring that will kill you if you don't make it to your safe zone in time. If you make it back, car in one piece, you'll gear up and go right back out on the roads again. It does look thrilling and fun, and I love the art style and aesthetic of this game. Pacific Drive looks like it's filled with so much charm and has clever systems. What I've said here is just a summary, of course, but I'll link the gameplay walkthrough so you can see for yourself. It's probably the game I'm looking forward to most in February. Here at 100% Crit, we love creative indie games. Pacific Drive releases on February 22nd. You might have heard about this pirate game that's been struggling to find its sea legs with development and gameplay direction for 6 years. Well, it's releasing this month. Skull and Bones is a co-op live service pirate game where you'll take to the Indian Ocean in an attempt to go from zero to hero by plundering all the booty and engaging in ship-on-ship combat. You progress through the game by completing quests that give you infamy. Becoming infamous on the seas unlocks more of the game for you to explore and gives you more options to customize your ship, which in turn allows you to take on harder missions. Every part of your ship is something to consider, as all parts have perks attached to them. Best to be well prepared for what combination of challenges you're taking on. Straight up PvP, missions from kingpins, hunting treasure maps, or sieging a fort. I'd say approach Skull and Bones with caution. While visually it looks great, it is missing some key features that are essential to the pirate fantasy, like boarding other ships and sword and gunplay. But if you're on the lookout for raw naval combat in the high seas, Skull and Bones will release on February 16th. I'll end the video with 2 remakes. I'm hearing that Atlas are doing everything but develop the next actual Persona game. Persona 3 Reloaded is a remake of the beloved RPG, updated graphics, UI, there's new cutscenes. It's available on February 2nd. Remade from the Game Boy Advance in 2004, Mario vs Donkey Kong arrives on the Switch February 16th, bringing with it new visuals, puzzles, and levels. That's all the major titles releasing in February 2024. Let me know which ones you're planning on picking up. You've been watching 100% Crit. Keep it locked for more gaming content, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.